Hey guys, Coach Megan here, and today we're going to be talking about what it takes to maintain a certain amount of body fat. Now, we all look at models and athletes, celebrities, and we all wonder what they are eating and what their exercise routine looks like, and we try and imitate that, and a lot of times we don't see the results that we want to, or we look at different exercises or workout routines, say on Pinterest or in magazines, and they all have these gimmicky titles that entail something like do these 5 ab exercises to get ripped or to get a six-pack. And what we don't realize is that nutrition plays a huge part of that. It is a much bigger percentage going into that body composition than exercise plays. And so I want to just encourage you guys and bring some realistic expectations to, okay, if you want to look this certain way, this is actually what it takes. And that way you guys can know too what your why is, what you're going for, and you can see, okay, this is what I'm willing to do to achieve this leanness, or this is what I'm not willing to do. And so you can find a good balance of what works for you and be satisfied with that. So I'm going to break down different body fat percentages into different categories. And a lot of times people don't know what their body fat percentage is. They might look at the BMI, and that is usually pretty inaccurate because that doesn't take muscle mass into account. So if you do have a bit more muscle mass, it might put you in the obese category. So that might give you kind of a guess, but a lot of times it's pretty off. So you can also do things like look at measurements, and of course, looking in the mirror is going to be helpful. A lot of times that's still subjective though. So depending on if you had a salad last night for dinner, if you had a burger, you're going to feel like you might have gained weight whether you did or not. So what I like to use is the InBody. We have that here at our gym, and that gives you your body fat percentage, your skeletal muscle mass, your visceral fat, hydration levels, all that good stuff. So if you guys want to come in and get a more accurate reading on what your body composition is, you can totally do that. Shameless plug. All right, so we're going to break down the categories. The first one is going to be in the obese category. Men are above 20% in this category. Women are above 30% body fat in this category. And ideally, we would want men to be somewhere around like 15%, women to be somewhere around 20 to 25%. So that just gives you kind of an idea of where the first category is at. So I'm going to give you guys the benefits, the trade-offs, the list of the things that you should be doing more of and less of if you want to be in this category. So first one, it is very easy to fall back on this one. It doesn't require much thought or work, but the trade-off is that you are going to be feeling just at poor energy, you're going to be at poor health. Your life expectancy is not going to be as long because the more body fat you have, the higher you are at risk for metabolic syndrome, and that includes things like diabetes, cardiovascular disease. So you're probably going to be on more medications as well. So there's a lot of trade-offs to be in this category. You're going to be probably eating a lot more processed foods, not very many whole foods. A lot of people in this category tend to eat really quickly and eat big portion sizes, not really pay attention to hunger cues. They don't really have balanced meals. They don't sleep that great or sleep long enough usually, and they don't practice any type of stress management. So stress management could look like doing a yoga class, going on a walk, breathing, just taking time to really unplug and de-stress from the day. So the next category is going to be where men are between 15 and 20% body fat, and women are between 25 and 30% body fat. So this is a little bit more of the overweight category. The benefit here is that there is improved health compared to the obese, and there are increased energy levels as well as better sleep. And exercise is a little bit more enjoyable, and it is pretty easy at this point. So the trade-offs is that there does require a little bit of thought and planning here. You might look good but not be super lean. And then what you want to do more of to stay in here is you want to eat slowly until satisfied at 60% of your meals. And again, eating slowly is really paying attention to what you're eating. So chewing your food at least 20-25 times, setting your fork down in between bites, and really enjoying the whole process of eating. A lot of times people will tend to eat, they might be driving or on their way to a meeting or working while they're eating, and they might scarf down a meal in like 6 or 7 minutes. So we want to extend that time as long as we can and work our way up to about 20 minutes. Then you're gonna eat until you're satisfied. So that looks like eating until you're 80% full. So you shouldn't be hungry anymore, but you shouldn't feel full, like totally stuffed. And so you just want to start paying attention to those hunger cues of, okay, I'm satisfied now. I can move on and keep going throughout my day and not feel like I overate. So they're going to be eating until satisfied at 60% of their meals. They're going to include 1 to 2 palms of protein at 1 or 2 meals a day. And same thing with vegetables. They might include 1 or 2 of those at a couple meals. So their exercise is going to be about 3 to 5 times per week, and their any intensity will be included here. So it could be low, moderate, or high intensity. What they'll do less of is they will eat a little bit of fewer processed carbs, but their overall carb count is going to not really change drastically, and they might decrease their caloric beverages a little bit, maybe say no to a soda here or there, or alcohol, but overall they're still probably consuming a lot of calories from beverages. So next that we have is men in the 13 to 15%, and women are between 23 and 25. So again, you're not super lean here, but you're healthier, and that's kind of the average. So the benefit here is that it is fairly easy to maintain. You also might be able to reduce or eliminate medications at this body fat, and the trade-off is that it does require some planning. And there might also be some minor social sacrifices that you have to make. So maybe all your friends are gathering at the bar, but you're saying, no, I'm going to stick to my workout time that I designated. So I might be exercising while you guys are enjoying, but we'll meet up after. There also is a little bit more effort and attention to maintain sleep. Sleep is a huge part of just helping your body recover and regulating hormones. So you might start paying attention to sleep a little bit more, and then a little bit more time and attention is dedicated to reducing, to learn stress reducing techniques. So what you want to do more of here is you want to eat slowly and until satisfied at 75% of your meals. And then you also want to do 1 to 2 palms of protein at 2 to 3 meals during the day. And same with vegetables, you're probably going to eat about 2 to 3 fists of veggies. And then your exercise is going to look around 30 to 45 minutes a day, and 1 to 2 sessions a week are going to be high intensity. Then the sleep is going to be around 7 hours per night, and you might be in the practice of or the habit of regularly practicing some stress reduction techniques. You also want to do less of when it comes to desserts and processed carbs. You're going to limit those to about 3 to 5 times per week. And then the caloric beverages, same thing. You might have 1 every other day or something like that. So the next category is men in the 10 to 12% body fat range, and then women are going to be 20 to 22%. So this is starting to get a little bit more to the athletic build, getting closer to that. And the benefit here is that you might look fit in your appearance. You're going to have increased energy and better health, decreased food cravings just because you're eating a balanced diet for the most part, and you're getting regular exercise. It's relatively easy to maintain at this stage because your habits your practices have probably become habits at this stage too. So then the trade-off is that it doesn't require more planning, and there is a greater level of attention to meal prepping, to your diet, to just your time commitment to exercise, and to increased sleep. So you might need some coaching or assistance when it comes to helping you with sleep. I know that my coach and I do talk about how many hours of sleep I'm getting a night, and I use a sleep tracker app just to make sure I'm getting a realistic view on, okay, I actually was asleep and in bed at this point, and then I woke up at this point, so this is my sleep quality, this is how many hours I got each night, how many times I got up during the night too. So you might start to pay attention to that a little bit more. And then for what you want to do more of, you are going to be eating slowly until you're satisfied at 90% of your meals. You also are going to be eating 1 to 2 palms of protein at each meal, and same thing, 1 to 2 fists of fibrous vegetables at each meal. And then you're also going to be doing 1 to 2 thumbfuls of essential fats as well. So your meals are becoming more and more balanced. And you're going to also include 1 to 2 cupped handfuls of minimally processed carbs at most meals, not every meal, but most of them. The exercise is going to look somewhere around 45 to 60 minutes a day, and you're also going to include 3 to 4 high intensity exercise sessions a week. Then your sleep is going to look like 7 to 8 hours a night, and you're going to de-stress for 20 minutes daily. Then what you want to do less of, or you want to limit desserts and processed carbs to only once or twice a week. So maybe like on a Friday night, going out with friends, you're engaging in a social activity, that's when you have your free meal. And you're going to drink maybe 1 or 2 caloric beverages a week. That could be a drink out with friends, or a coffee that has, all the little extras in it. Teas, even a smoothie. A lot of times people will get smoothies because they think that they're healthy, but a lot of times they are super loaded with carbohydrate and don't have a ton of protein and just jacked up with sugar. So those usually tend to fall into the category of being, they should be part of more of your free meal. So you just want to start paying attention to that as well. Then we've got 2 more categories. The men at this category are going to be between 6 and 9% body fat, so that's starting to get really lean. Women are 16 to 19% body fat. So at this point, you are probably going to have a 6-pack, or at least working on it. You're going to be extremely lean. Your overall health is going to be good because, again, you're eating a balanced diet, and you're going to be and consuming minimally processed foods. And you also probably have fewer cravings as well. The trade-off here is that people tend to struggle a little bit with social situations involving food, again, because they're starting to meal prep a lot more and pay attention to just the portion sizes that they're consuming with a lot more intensity. And so when other food is involved, it can be tough to say no, especially if they have a lot of peer pressure to join in. They may not have time for social engagements outside of exercise, because that will be a big part of what they are giving their time to, and then they might have to give up hobbies and interests outside of fitness as well. So what they want to do more of is that 95% of their meals they are going to eat and slowly and until satisfied. They're going to start to incorporate carb cycling. So on certain days they'll have low carbs, other days they'll have high amount of carbs, and that is tapered to their body, their needs, their exercise habits, things like that. Their exercise is going to be an hour to an hour and 15 minutes a day, and they are going to do 4 to 5 sessions of high intensity exercise per week. Their sleep is actually going to increase to 8 to 9 hours a night. They're going to de-stress for 20 minutes daily. So again, sleep is going to continue to rise. You need that to recover. If you could be doing all these things but then not sleeping, and that's going to jack up your hormones and slow down your progress. So they also are going to limit their carbs to the designated high carb days. They're probably going to eat desserts and processed carbs 1 to 2 one time every other week, maybe once a week. And same thing goes for caloric beverages. So they might be sticking to just black coffee, herbal teas, LaCroix, seltzer waters, things like that. And then they're also going to limit their time at restaurants to 1 to 2 times per week at most as well. Then this is the final category. This is where men are below 6% body fat and women are below 16% body fat. And this is extremely lean. This is a lot of times like elite athletes will be here, or people that are competing in body composition, or like bodybuilding or physique contests. They will be here, and this is obviously it just takes a lot of extra work to maintain this, so they might be here for a little bit during the year and then kind of even out the rest of the year. So the benefit here is that obviously there's a lot of pride that comes with achieving the athletic goal. But the trade-off is that there's difficulty socializing when food is involved, even more so than the previous category that we talked about. They might lose out on fun events with family and friends because they're dedicating, like I said, a lot of time to their fitness, or if it's involving, going out to a restaurant, they might have to say no to that as well. There is a big time commitment to weighing and tracking all of the food, and since they are hyper-focused on diet and exercise, that might contribute to some disordered eating or just stress psychologically as well. So especially if they're, like I said, going really hardcore, really restrictive, that is really tough to maintain for a lot of the year. So their time for exercise might also crowd out all the other pursuits and interests that they have. What they're going to be doing more of here is at 99.9% of their meals, they're eating until they are satisfied, and they're eating slowly. So again, they're really never feeling full or stuffed. really any other time at all. They are doing carb cycling and calorie cycling as well. They are following probably a predetermined list of, or meal plan for foods with specific amounts and looking at meal timing. They're gonna be measuring all their food very specifically, so it no longer is just kind of eyeballing. Everything is gonna be weighed out. They are gonna include an exact amount of minimally processed foods when they are done with their workouts. That's gonna start playing into nutrition timing. And then they are exercising 45 to 75 minutes 2 times a day. So quite a bit extra there. They're gonna be having 6 to 7 high intensity exercises each week, and they are gonna be sleeping at least 9 hours a night. Their body's going through a lot of stress, so they need that time to recover and to prioritize that. So again, sometimes that looks like cutting out of parties or dinners early to make sure you can go home and get to bed on time. Also, they're gonna be de-stressing for 20 minutes every single day. What they're gonna limit is, again, carbs on those high carb days. They are gonna be limiting dessert and processed foods probably every 10 to 12 weeks. And they also are gonna avoid caloric beverages and eating out at restaurants. So this just gives you a picture, especially like I said, if you wanna be like ripped like that magazine cover, that is what it takes. And it is, people can do it, but it is very taxing, and it just requires a lot of extra planning and preparation. So again, this is really helpful for looking at, okay, what am I willing to give up? What am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to, even though I'm tired from work, am I willing to still go to the gym? Because these people that are doing this, they might be exhausted from a long day and working out at like 10 or 11 at night to get their workout in. So it's like, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to say no to drinks when all of your friends are out and you're sticking to this? Are you willing to, not buy X, Y, and Z at the store even though you're craving it so bad because you know that it's gonna be a temptation for the rest of the week and it's gonna take you off of what you're doing. So there's all kinds of trade-offs that we have to be making, but you also need to learn, like I said, where your balance is, what you're okay with doing, and also what you're okay with pushing forward on, even though it won't be easy. So instead of taking an all or nothing approach, I really encourage my clients to pick certain things that they can be leveling up in. So, if they are finding that, I'm consuming a lot of beverages during the week, that I think are healthy, but they are not, helping me move towards my goal, instead of it, being like, I have to do all those things if I want to look a certain way. I'm not going to do any of it. Instead of that, it's like, all right, let's keep choosing these small goals and making them into habits, practicing these good habits, good lifestyle habits on a daily basis, and that's slowly going to change just the course of your life, the trajectory of your life, and you're going to keep getting closer and closer to the goals that you want to have. So I know when I started, like I said in my last video before this, I was definitely following a more restrictive diet, and it was just tough. I just felt like I needed to, go crazy on the weekends. And when I really started getting a hold of my nutrition and also feeling like I had control over it, I just started eating a ton of vegetables, and that was my first goal of, all right, I'm gonna look at my vegetable count and make sure that I'm eating plants all the time and not processed. Even breads, I love bread, so even cutting out just food that can sit in the pantry. It's like, let's fill up our fridge with as many colors as possible. Then I started paying attention to my portion size. That's something that I never done before. I kind of guessed about like, all right, I should be filling up my plate and I should be eating all the food on my plate, and I would eat very quickly. That was a big thing. So I really slowed down and even just shortened, use smaller bowls, use smaller plates, and started to pay attention to my hunger cues. Okay, was I satisfied? All right, then I could just go on. And that helped me a lot. That was a huge change in my life. So that was really helpful. Also not feeling like I was being ruled by hunger either. I didn't have to, it's okay to feel a little bit hungry. It's not like I'm gonna die or something. So that was a big change in my mindset. And then now it's like, look, that was a few years ago, and now looking to where I am today, things have really evolved. And it's been a slow process, but it's been very rewarding for sure. So let that be an encouragement to you guys, that just keep moving forward. But again, have realistic expectations. If you guys need help, let me know what questions you guys have, and I'll be more than happy to answer those. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.